how's it going? So today I got something super special for you. We've got Mr. Scott Elliott from Chernobyl Studios joining us. How's it going, Scott?
It's going well. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on the channel. It's a big honor.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. Scott's been a long time fan of the channel. I mean, like from way back in 2014 when I first got started on this. And he's a big black metal fan. And turns out he was a big fan of the first couple Woods of Ypres records as well.
It turns out, huh? And then it was you. I didn't know for a long time until you just happened to drop that bomb on your YouTube one day, and I was like, "What? He did Woods of Ypres?" Go on Wikipedia, Growing Fricker. No shit. There it is. So yeah.
Yeah, who'da thunk it? Anyway, yes, the guy who rants and raves about real drummers and and capturing great performances used a real drummer and captured a great performance. Now, you guys have seen my lesson, Total Heavy Guitar, which is everything you would want to know about recording tube amps and cabinets and moving mics around and blending shit and trying different pick techniques and all the rest of the stuff that goes along with recording metal guitars. And that's a 4-hour course where I basically took 20 years of knowledge and just squashed it down, made a lot of the mistakes so you don't have to. Now, Scott's lesson is different because he's got that kind of a lesson, but for amp sims.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
So tell us a little bit about it, man.
So yeah, essentially the story behind that is, so I need to backtrack just a little bit so people can understand why I went through so much trouble to be able to use amp sims. So I live in Kiev, Ukraine, all right? And it's sort of like, you know, people know where Poland is, and then after that it's like, and so it's really hard to get really high quality gear here, or if you can, it's very expensive. So amp sims were pretty much the only thing. Obviously I have some guitars, but these are like the ultra budget level guitars, and so I was just stuck with what I had. So I had no choice but to figure out how to make the sounds that I heard in my head. And, you know, watching channels like yours, you know, for example, where I still remember the first tutorial you made where you show how to mic a cab with your 5150, and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. And so I actually just tried to replicate a real life miking technique, but applying it to amp simulators and cabinet impulses. So that was the genesis of the idea, and that's where it came from. And from that idea to where we are today is a solid 5 years of working on it, trying things, wasting money on plugins, listening to bad advice, going through the rat race of biting your own tail, running in a circle, screwing it up, trying again. This sounds awesome. Listening to it the next day, this is shit. I mean, been there, done that over and over and over again, 5 years. And then Guitar Tone Mastery is essentially the result of all that pain and frustration. So I do have a demonstration actually here in Reaper in the DAW. So actually I wanted to basically put my money where my mouth is, right? I just want to show you guys a very simple double-tracked riff, no tricks, nothing. So you can see I got everything open here, all full transparency, right?
And you're using just Ignite Emissary and Lancaster Pulse.
Exactly. So I got a completely free chain. That was the other thing too. I wanted to exactly just take all of the out of the equation. And by the way, this is recorded on a $200 7-string Ibanez. It's the cheapest 7-string Ibanez makes. Nothing. That's nothing done. Just the tone.
Fuck.
Just the tone. So obviously the course is more about just developing tones. I actually do walk you through how to process. But again, it's not just okay, EQ with this frequency by this much. It's a concept. I'm showing you the concept of how to find the things that you need to take care of. So anyway, the point was it's not just like EQing by numbers. I wanted to talk about concept. So that's just the tone itself. So it's more about just building cool tones. So I mean, it's hey, I EQ'd this by this much. That's literally every YouTube tutorial ever. Well, why did you EQ there, Glenn? Why did you do that, Glenn? What are you hearing here, Glenn? Those are actually the questions where I go in depth with the course.
Right, and this is the thing, and this is what blew me away because I went down to San Diego last March to hang out with Dave Velez. You guys have seen him on the show quite a bit. And one thing Dave loves to do is just pick my brain when I get down there. He'll sit me down for like 4 hours and ask me a bunch of questions. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He's like, and then he hit me with this. He's like, have you seen this course? This is from this guy from Chernobyl Studios. And I'm like, well, I've heard that name before. And he sat me down for a couple hours and we just went through the course. I'm like, holy fuck, this works great. I mean, like, just absolutely monster fucking guitar tones. But I loved your methodology, how you went through stuff and you showed, here's what we're doing and here's what we're looking for at this particular point. It's like you're working with roll-offs and whatnot. It's like, it's not just set the roll-off here. Let's move this fucking roll-off around and see what it does and then find the sweet spot from that depending on what we're looking for.
Exactly. And that's really the idea was I wanted it to be an investment because we've all bought courses where we're like, oh Jesus, that was bad. But the point is of this course is it's actually a development tool. It's an investment in your skills, either as a guitarist, a mixer, a producer. If you need to make tones somehow, you can do it. And if you don't even play guitar and you use virtual amps, no problem. You can do that too. I've done it. So I actually have an EQ that I could show here just so you could A/B the difference using my process.
Let's take a look. Let's see what you got going on. Show us your stuff, man.
So the tone before was I had done nothing. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to enable this. You'll hear the difference. So I'll press play, disabled, blah, blah, blah. So I'll pitch the question to you, Glenn. What's the major difference that you hear?
Well, obviously there's a lot less crud going on, and yeah, I see you got a couple notches going on. There's some pretty hefty duty ones. What do you got going on there at 3 and 5? Can you highlight those?
Let's take a peek there. What's happening here is with my particular guitar. Then that's a thing I have to say. With my particular guitar, I have constant issues at 3.6K and 2.4. They're just harmonic resonances that always tend to happen for me. Mm-hmm. And then I have the filters here, and everything looks rather aggressive, but this is what I'm talking about when we get away from the numbers and move more towards the concepts.
Listening with your ears as opposed to what we're seeing on the screen.
Because let me go back to myself here, because one thing that always pissed me off, right, and I'm sure you experienced this too, Glenn, you ask a question, guys like, just use your ears, brah.
Yeah.
What the hell does that even mean? I get it. Use my ears. I got it. For what? To what end? What specifically? And that's really what I wanted to use this course for. All those questions that would just frustrate the bejesus out of me. And this is teaching you how to use your ears. Exactly correct. And I even have practice methods. I have a practice regime in there. You can do as little as 10 minutes a day. So.
Fantastic. Now, you take everybody through a bunch of different amp sims, right? Not just Emissary. Like, what do you got in there in the course? Like, what amp sims do you look at?
Yeah, I do tones with Nameless. I do tones with various of the Kazrog stuff. All right, and I do a tone with Emissary as well. But I mean, I want to sort of move away from you can use this gear and these plugins. Anything that you have, you can use. I mean, within reason, don't get don't try to take a jazz amp and make a death metal tone out of it. I mean, be realistic.
Sure.
But I mean, I have a $200 guitar and free plugins. It's just.
And yeah, you're getting absolutely killer stuff here. So that's great. Like I said, that's what kind of blew me away. I'm like, damn, this is really great. So how long is the course? How many pieces are in it? How long is the course in total?
Overall, it's over 5 hours long. But it's very segmented. It's very ordered. I mean, take it from A to Z. Literally, I even talk about how to plug in your guitar into the interface, into the DAW first. It's a big step. No, it is. For a lot of guys who are total noobs, this is exactly the kind of stuff they need to know. Exactly like that. And then from there, it builds. It's like, how do I hook this up? How do I gain stage this correctly? What is gain staging? That kind of shit. Exactly. I even go so far as to show what it looks like when it's too low, just right, and too much. So anything that pissed me off and frustrated me, I created a video about. Because if I had those questions, I knew a guy like you or a guy just starting out would have the same exact questions. And I mean, absolutely. It beats sitting on YouTube for 5 years trying to find the guy who just accidentally drops that knowledge bomb in a 20-minute video. So there you go. Absolutely. All right, so that is Guitar Tone Mastery from Chernobyl Studios. It's available now in Pro Mix Academy for $97. He was originally charging $197 for it. Yep. So we've got a lockdown special going on right now, so you can get it today. If you're recording your amp sim at home on your desktop and you're wondering why you're not getting the tones you're after, this course
is the thing you are looking for. This lays it all out in a system that is super easy to understand. And for myself, it really helped me get some great tones as well. I'm like, if you checked out my Audio Assault Sigma demo, that's one of the reasons I was able to dial a $15 amp sim like that and get such a monstrous tone out of it like this. Yeah, that didn't turn out too bad at all. For a $15 amp sim, I'm really happy with that. That's actually a tone I would put on a record. Anyway, Scott, thank you so much for being on the show. So glad you could take the time and we could get all the technical issues figured out.
Yeah, I'm glad.
OBS, as always, is super lots of fun to try and get working correctly. But anyway, definitely check out Guitar Tone Master. I got a link in the description below. Grab it now. It's definitely an investment you want to make and get better tone. So until next time, stay home, stay safe, and wash your fucking hands!